Hello and welcome to Newscentre. I'm Parikshit Luthra. The big story from the aviation space. Air India has inked an order to buy 250 Airbus planes. This is the first time that the airline has placed a major order since 2005. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron, with the top brass of Air India and Airbus in attendance. Madhya Mujabar joins us now. Madhya, a new order after 17 years, the biggest airline deal in aviation history. What does this mean for the Maharaja?
Parikshit, you are right. Aircraft order of this scale and size tells a lot about India's aviation sector, the strength, potential and the growth going forward. Let me first give you the details of Air India's massive order. Air India has signed letter of intent to acquire 250 Airbus aircraft. This will include 40 A350 wide-body planes that will be used for long-distance routes and 210 A320 Neos, which are narrow-body planes, which will be used for domestic and short-distance routes. This announcement was long awaited. Air India and Airbus have been in negotiations for months to seal this deal. And looking at Air India's existing fleet, it has 113 aircraft, including 68 Airbus and 45 Boeing planes. This is not only Air India's first new aircraft order under the Tatas, but also the first in 18 years. The last time it had bought new planes was in 2005. And Air India has been focusing on adding more wide-body aircraft to its fleet and also refurbish the existing ones. Remember, few weeks ago, it had announced investing $400 million in redoing the interiors of the wide-body cabins. So adding more wide-body aircraft clearly indicates the airline's plans to strengthen the Europe and US network, plus expand its connectivity to other parts of the world. And strengthening the narrow-body fleet also means it wants to add more aircraft to its domestic routes, mostly in the Indian market.
Right. Thank you very much for summing all of that up for us, Madhya. We're also hearing that the Tata deal with Boeing for 220 aircraft could also be signed possibly later this evening. We will wait for an announcement on that. But for the moment, we are joined by Devesh Agarwal, Chief Analyst at Bangalore Aviation. Devesh, big deal for Air India. Give us a sense of how this will give more teeth to Air India's fleet and Air India's operations in India and globally. And once we hear of the Boeing deal also being announced, how will Air India stand against the likes of Emirates, Qatar Airways and global aviation giants?
Hi, Parikshit. Thank you for having me. It is definitely a momentous occasion. If you see, the last biggest order ever placed in the history of aviation was to 2011, when American Airlines ordered 460 aircraft. And those were all narrow bodies. This is 470 aircraft with, as I can gather, about 70 wide bodies and the rest, almost 400 being narrow bodies. So definitely a mega deal. Shows a lot of confidence that the current owners of Air India have in the airline, in terms of the long-term future. But one thing, this definitely, the A350 can be outfitted. As you know, the A350 currently operates the longest non-stop flight in the world, which is from Singapore to New York. It's almost 22 hours. So this will allow Air India to operate non-stop into the deep interior tech centers of the United States, like Dallas, Austin, the traditional San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, were not as, you can say, remunerative routes, because they were not being flown, they had a large percentage of what we call visiting friends and relatives, like leisure traffic, whereas the tech centers, and of course, with number of Indians moving into the American Southwest, allows, it requires a much more, longer range aircraft. And so this will be a good, aircraft to take them into that area. Of course, they've ordered 787s also. So the 787-9 will be able to, take them into like Chicago and possibly even Delhi, San Francisco, things like that. And traditionally, if you see, Air India has considered itself as a Boeing kind of a customer, at least on long distance, and Air India Express is 100% Boeing fleet. In a way, this order also represents a bit of a compromise, in the sense that at least about 50 of the 737s that are going to come from Boeing were the ones earmarked to various Chinese airlines, which have not been delivered because, China is still dragging its feet on recertifying the 737 MAX. And similarly, I think a lot of the A350s will come out of the aircraft that were ordered by Aeroflot because of the sanctions imposed by the West on Russia. So this will enable Air India to, rapidly get a big fleet. And Parikshit, it's simple customer thing. I mean, you also fly regularly. So you would see that today Air India, if it wants to fly the very lucrative Bangalore-San Francisco route, either it doesn't have an aircraft or at best it's got one aircraft, so it can only operate say 2 times a week. Which business person is going to depend on an airline that flies only twice a week? So, with more aircraft, they go daily or they go much higher frequency. So they are able to gather more passengers. They are going to be able to be a stronger airline and appeal to the higher
Devesh,
value
I'm just going to ask you to hold on for a second.
Sure.
Right. Let me also get in Mark Martin, who's been standing by. Mark Martin, founder and CEO of Martin Consulting, also with us on the phone line. Martin, what will this order mean for the growth of Air India, both in the domestic market and in the global aviation market?
Hi, Parikshit. Good to be here, and thanks for having me on board. I think we got to be very clear that this deal is going to give Air India a much-needed product freshness in the sense that Air India is now going to be flying further, better, longer, higher. And I think the definition of that would be that the first impact is going to be with Gulf carriers, because earlier India was extremely dependent on Middle Eastern airlines, Qatar, Emirates, Oman Air, and so on. Now, with the long-range capability, Air India now truly goes back to a vision that was set in the 50s and 60s and 70s, which was taking India to the world and taking our hospitality to every part of the globe. So clearly, this is a very strategic step. In terms of the A350 being a perfect match, now the A350 has proven itself as a very good long-range aircraft. And it all boils down to how competitive the market is, because Boeing is facing a bit of a whammy and onslaught with operators pulling out of the 777X. And on the flip side, Qatar's dispute with Airbus on the A350 has also created surplus aircraft for Boeing and Airbus both together. But coming over to where we are here, from a broader perspective, casualties are going to be with Gulf carriers, but the winner here clearly is Air India's old friends who have always supported Air India, which is Star Alliance, Lufthansa, as well as now, as we know, Singapore Airlines. So I think the long-term outlook looks really good. Whether or not they're going to balance something out with Boeing is honestly yet to be seen, because both the Boeing announcement could have come first. Right. But having said that, this is going to be a much-needed, level 2 upgrade to what we've been seeing so far as a level 1 or version 1 Air India. So I think it's going to be great from a long-term perspective, and Air India is now going to be far more better poised.
Right. Mark, what also would you feel about the delivery timeline of these aircraft? I'm talking about both Airbus and Boeing, even though the Boeing announcement is yet to be made. And also, how will this help Air India when it comes to its operational efficiency and also saving fuel costs?
So Parikshit, the A350 gives you at least 25% lower operating costs, which means that maintenance is far more simplified. Fuel burn is down by almost 28% in comparison to what it was before. Lower carbon emissions, lower sound, much longer range. So I think in terms of delivery, we should be lucky enough to see the first aircraft come in 6 months, because that was delivery time was something which was a key part of negotiation with Airbus, as we all know, and that has been made public so far. So I think the the Asian travelers, the Indian traveler should be seated in a nice, comfortable seat, and possibly 6 months from now, I'm guessing July, August is when the first couple of aircraft should come in. And from a infrastructure perspective, I think the 350 is clearly going to take or require baptism by fire of some sort for Air India to upgrade its archaic maintenance systems, technologies, facilities, infrastructure to a newer generation aircraft. They've got a taste of new generation with the 787 Dreamliner that they've been flying. So the Dreamliner was actually the biggest deal that Air India signed back in the day. But clearly the A350 is a bit more superior in terms of technology and effective far lower maintenance.
Right. My final question to you, Devesh Agarwal. In the next 5 years, where could this take Air India and the Indian aviation industry as far as the market share goes in the global industry?
See, there's little doubt, Parikshit. India constitutes today what? We have become effectively the most populous nation on the earth. We are almost having 20% of the world population. Our economy is growing. We are growing, it's make in India. We are talking about being fully interlinked with the global economy, and people are going to travel. So demand is going to continue growing. In fact, the challenge, as Mark said, is keeping up with the demand. This is just, I think, the tip of the iceberg. We need many, many more aircraft in the sky coming out of India, and we're going to need a hell of a lot more airports in India, or enlarging of existing airports to handle this additional traffic. As I said, deliveries definitely have been a main reason why Air India has compromised and gone with a split. Order. They've ordered both narrow bodies and wide bodies on both the major airframers purely because of deliveries. The 777X is having its own challenges. It will take time, over 3-4 years. So Air India is in the right spot to take the. It's basically called a mini jumbo when it comes online. So there are definitely the skies are great ahead. But as Mark said, one thing. Air India's entire human network is so used to operating in an archaic system, it has to be pulled in the next 6 months to become a global airline. The aircraft is just one.
All right. We've run out of time, Devesh Agarwal. Right. Thank you so much for summing up that for us, Mark Martin and Devesh Agarwal. We're going to take a short break, but we'll continue discussing the global impact of the Air India Airbus deal. And we'll wait for the Boeing announcement as well. We're taking a short break, but don't go anywhere. India's defense might continues to be on full display on day 2 at the Aero Show 2023. More on this when we're back.
Let's you and me step out and see how blue the sky, how tall the trees. Let's you and I step out to find how far we go, how deep the sea.
Skoda Kushaq is India's safest family car. Protect what matters. Skoda.
My journey of insurance and investments began at the same time, when I invested in LIC SEEP. In this fast-moving world, SEEP can balance your funds with security and growth. SEEP will take care of the ups and downs of the market and will give you fruitful results so that you enjoy the ride. And when SEEP is with you, you can soar high.
LIC's unit-linked insurance plan SEEP offers savings and protection so that you can soar high in your life. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
Indo Wind Energy Limited. Rights issue open. closes on 24th February 2023.
बीमारी हुई तो पता लगा कि हॉस्पिटल का बिल ऑफिस के हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस से कई गुना ज्यादा है। काश मैंने हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस लिया होता। पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 390 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
अपने घर और कमर्शियल स्पेसेस को बनाइए अल्ट्रा मॉडर्न, इनोवेटिव, इको फ्रेंडली विद क्विक इंस्टॉलेशन। ऑल दिस एट द वन स्टॉप डेस्टिनेशन, यूरो प्रतीक।
99 एकर्स रेटिंग्स एंड रिव्यूज। जो साइट विजिट ना दिखाए कोई ये बताए। अब हर कोई बनेगा प्रॉपर्टी एक्सपर्ट विद 99 एकर्स। घर लेना हो या बेचना, 99 एकर्स से ही पूछना।
India is making significant strides to become an economic superpower. Despite facing challenges and periods of volatility, by working together and updating their strategies, businesses have aided this growth momentum and ensured a more inclusive, sustainable and progressive global economy amidst the current geopolitical changes. If you have successfully navigated these risks and helped the economy thrive, then nominate yourself today. For ICICI Lombard and CNBC-TV18 present India Risk Management Awards.
Bertram, meet Hector, the car that pampers me.
Pampers you, sir? Only a car.
Hello, MG. Good morning.
Good morning. What a beautiful day.
This is my favorite. Traffic jam assist. Ta-da!
Sir, please.
Relax. Hector's got this. Told you, it pampers me. The next gen MG Hector. It's a human thing.
Suresh.
Yes, brother?
Please take care of it, huh?
Sure, I'll do it.
Really? You're concerned for it even if you're going to the village for just 2 days. But you never think about us this way.
Everything will be fine. My rickshaw union group has taken LIC's group micro-term assurance plan. Papa! Wow! Now no matter what, my family will keep moving forward.
Get LIC's group micro-term assurance plan. Keep your family secure.
The GST Council meeting scheduled on the 18th of February is likely to deliberate on some proposals made by the Fitment Committee. Sources say the Council will be looking at proposals on reducing GST on millet-based products and other items. Timsi Japuria is here with the details. Timsi, what are you picking up? Where could we see some rate changes on the 18th?
Well, to be fair, the stage is set for the GST Council to meet for its 49th meeting on 18th February in New Delhi. This is a physical meeting, and some of the proposals that are there on the agenda include Fitment Committee's proposal, a recommendation to reduce GST on millet-based health products, where in case where 70% of millets are there and are sold in loose, they'll be reduced from 18% to nil. But if they are sold in a pre-packaged and labelled form, in the same capacity, that is 70% of millets being there in that particular health mix or product, then the rate will be reduced from again 18% to 5%. Apart from that, pencil sharpeners, the rate has been proposed to be recommended for a reduction from 18% to 12%. Where when it comes to MUVs, there was a clarity in the last meeting that was desired by the Fitment Committee. Well, the Fitment Committee says that as of now, they would like to defer the matter because they want further detailed deliberations with the stakeholders on this particular issue. Remember, SUVs and MUVs, there was a clarity that was required that SUVs attract a 22% of compensation cess, and whether the same should be applicable to MUVs with this similar engine capacity, length and ground clearance. So that is something that deferment has been recommended, and it could take some more time. But yes, also apart from that, when it comes to the GOM reports that the GST Council is likely to deliberate upon, it is going to be on the appellate tribunals. Dushyant Chautala-led GOM has recommended that there should be a principal bench in New Delhi, and then state-specific benches can be there depending upon whatever states agree for having these benches. Let's see what happens when the GST Council meets finally on 18th Feb.
All right. Thank you, Timsi Japuria, for joining us with all the items that will be on the agenda when the GST Council meets on the 18th of February. Moving on, India's defence might continues to be on full display on day 2 of the Aero India 2023. The day started with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh engaging with his counterparts from 32 countries. Ritu Singh gets us all the highlights from day 2 of the Aero India show.
Well, it's day 2 of Aero India 2023 and it continues to dazzle the crowds with displays of aircrafts, helicopters, fighter jets in the Bengaluru skies. Whether it is the US Air Force's latest 5th generation supersonic multi-role F-35 aircrafts here, or India's very own Tatas here behind me, or the Surya Kirans, they continue to dazzle the crowds here in Bengaluru. Now I'm here at the India Pavilion where India is showcasing its might in the aerospace sector and attracting foreign players to come and sign MOUs to make in India, make for the world. We spoke to some of the key players in the sector as well from India. HAL and BEL both said while the chip shortage continues to be a concern, they're not really impacted and do not foresee any delay in deliveries. They're signing with multiple contracts. BEL, for instance, said it will sign more than 20 MOUs here at Aero India.
I can say that there is a lot of interest being shown by foreign OEMs to establish partnerships with HAL. So that is something which is moving on. And in fact, the IMRH also for the engines, as I have told, there is a partnership which is coming up now.
So you said there's 90,000 crores of an order pipeline for HAL. If you could give us a few highlights.
No, 90,000 crores is a pending order book. 84,000 crores as of now. And with HT40, it will be 90,000 crores of pending order book.
We are signing MOU with IEI. We are signing MOU with Elbit System. We are signing MOU with many Indian companies. We are signing TOT agreements and MOU with DRDO labs. So all these are going to help us in bringing around 20 plus. As of now, we have an order book of around 51,000 crores.
Well, more than 700 Indian companies are participating in this 5-day-long exhibition at the Aero India, and among them are many startups as well. One of them is Garuda Aerospace, who we just spoke to a short while ago. It says the game of drones has just begun and a lot more action is expected in the drone space. It is also currently negotiating with the Indian Armed Forces for a large drones order that we'll see happening sometime during the course of 2023. Among the non-defense announcements, the company is also tied up with the likes of Swiggy and Flipkart to make deliveries via its drones. And this is one of the prototypes that you can see displayed right here, which is soon going to be dropping your pizza and your food and your other Flipkart orders via this. So many exciting things in the works here at Garuda Aerospace.
I feel that India is slowly transforming into becoming a global drone hub by 2030. And in that pursuit, Garuda Aerospace wishes to contribute and hope to become the first ever drone unicorn startup by 2024. 2023 is going to be a very lucky year for all of us. We've done a lot of trials in the past with the Army, with ISRO, of course with Swiggy, and we also have a lot more other logistic players coming in.
The storm is coming. That line that you read on this Hindustan Lead Fighter Trainer 42 or HLFT 42 displayed by HAL here at Aero India 2023 has done literally just that. Brought the storm to this event. Remember yesterday when this was unveiled, there was an image of Lord Hanuman on this tail because HLFT 42 is the successor of HAL Maruth, which was the first indigenous aircraft, and Maruth is another name for wind or Pavan, like we call it in Hindi, and the son of Pavan is Lord Hanuman, which is why a picture of Hanuman was displayed on this model aircraft. As you can see today, the tail is clear. The image of Lord Hanuman has been removed from it. We asked the HAL MD as well as to why that was done, and he said that the picture or the image of Lord Hanuman was put here, right here on this tail yesterday without any intention, and the removal also, he said, is without any intention.
And Ritu Singh getting you all the action from the Aero India show in Bengaluru. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Newscentre. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.